And good afternoon. Thanks everyone for joining. My name is Nathan. I'm a trainer here at Adwerx in Durham, North Carolina, and very pleased to have each of you with me today. Today we're going to chat about a few topics. I'm going to go over with you a little bit about what we'll cover today while some of the other agents are joining. GoToMeeting can be a little tricky for some folks, so we'll wait just a minute or two to allow everyone to join us. But in the meantime, let's chat about what's on the agenda today. So at Adwerx, we help real estate agents succeed with their digital strategy. That's our whole business. We've been doing it since 2013, and we're really pleased to partner with NAR to put this webinar on today so that you can get some best practices and strategies for putting together your digital strategy as we navigate these changing times. So the topic for today is reopening your business during the great digital shift. And what that means is, as we navigate through the spring of March, April, May, adjusting to pandemic times, what we're finding is that we're encountering a new normal. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, is that a lot of the shifts towards digital that have been happening for the last many years have been accelerated as a result of COVID. And so we want to make sure that all agents have access to the most sophisticated cutting edge tools to do really great digital advertising to grow your business and make the most of the moment that we live in. So this is our agenda for today. And we're going to talk about how what we're encountering is really the new normal. So the changes that we had to make in March, April, and May as we adjusted to the pandemic, that means we're not doing in-person open houses anymore. That means we're not outside shaking hands and kissing babies. We have switched a lot of the way that we approach our business. And for some agents who have been embracing digital for many years, this was not hard for them. They were used to doing Zoom calls and virtual open houses and FaceTimes and so forth, but it's not the same for every agent. We're finding those agents who had been embracing digital for some time are succeeding the most in this new normal. Second, the shift has been happening for a long time. We're going to look in just a moment here about some of the ways that agents have traditionally evolved their marketing over time, and how these processes that have been at work for some time now, many decades even, have just been accelerated by COVID. So we want to make sure that we're looking at what are the things you need to be doing to be successful in this new normal by embracing digital, and making sure that we're incorporating that into our business planning. And finally, what is your strategy? What is it that you're going to do? You should have a plan in place, thinking this is exactly how I'm going to put these things together. If you need help, we can help you with it, or you can do it on your own. It doesn't matter how you do it, but you need to have a formal, intentional digital strategy in place to succeed, especially during times like this. So that's what we're going to cover today. Thanks again, everyone, for joining me. Whatever questions you have, just fill in the little box at the bottom underneath my name, underneath your name. You'll see a place for questions and answers. I don't have audio for you, so that would be a great place for you to ask any questions. And anything that I don't cover or can't cover today, you'll have an opportunity to book a private, custom one-on-one coaching session with one of my partners and colleagues here at Adwerx, and you can ask any additional follow-up questions or get help putting together your digital strategy. So without further ado, let's dive right into number one here. I like to call this the COVID casualties. We're talking about open houses we don't do quite the same way anymore. We don't meet our colleagues in person at the office anymore, so we're doing all Zoom calls. We're seeing people doing more remote working, so not just agents, but like me, I'm here at home. I'm doing my webinar from home. We're seeing less traffic near city centers because people are not driving in, they're not commuting as much. They are, in some cases, moving and living further out. And what we're finding from NAR is that indeed people are now having an interest in buying larger houses, because if I have to be stuck indoors for the next 12 months or something, I want to have some more space to play. So I call this the COVID casualties. This is some of the things that we have identified as the economy has shut down, if people have been staying indoors, to make sure that we're ensuring people stay safe and following those good public health guidelines. We don't know exactly how this is going to play out into the future. With a vaccine, then we're going to change the way we're doing business, but we don't know when that's going to come. It could be 6 months, could be a year. So the agents who are preparing their business with an eye towards, I have to just expect that things are not going to go back to how they were anytime soon, that adaptability, that flexibility is the kind of thing that helps agents really succeed. And that's the thing that we're seeing for many years. Adwerx has been working with agents for many years. And it's no different than the agents who, back in 2008, who thought, oh, during that crash, I'm never going to sell another house ever again. But the agents who took the long view and adapted their business, within 18 months, it was another bull market that stretched for 10 years. And so there's booms and bust cycles all the time. And the agents who are smart make sure to adapt and be flexible so that they can grow their business regardless of the larger context. But so this is the new normal. And then number two, digital shift has been happening for a long time. Who on the call here can recognize the book that I have in front of me? Anybody raise your hands? If you can see, there's a little button. You can raise your hand. Let me know if this looks like something familiar to you. And I might be having a little delay in my slides. That's okay. But you should see in just a moment here what looks like a phone book. This is an MLS printed book from Arizona from 1985. So who's been an agent for a long time? Do you remember this? It used to be that there wasn't such a thing as an internet. So if you had a house for sale, you had, yeah, Gary's raising his hand. Gary's remember this. In fact, I was doing a training for an office in California, and the broker's dad, who I think was semi-retired at this point, talked about how he even remembers before there was an MLS book, like in the 70s, what they used. And he was saying, oh, when the book came out, it was amazing. It was like all in one place, and it was printed here, and you could, circle it and write it and photocopy it and send it off and stuff. So he was real excited when the book came out. But and I'm old enough remember in college, my first 2 years of university, there was no internet online registration. We got these giant fat printed books at the University of Texas in Austin. They were like phone book sized, and you had to find your course in the catalog. And in any case, we don't live in that world anymore. Technology shifts, taste shift, there's consumer trends that shift. So the agents who were stuck with the MLS book and just resisted the attempts to move forward, you're not going to compete with the agents who are embracing modernity. So what we're finding is that people are spending so much of their time in front of their devices, in front of their screens, that we need to have a digital presence. That was true before COVID. It's more important now during COVID, because if you were investing in your digital presence before, well, then guess what? You were well positioned to take advantage of the fact that you can't be physically meeting people. You can address them on their screens, which is where, frankly, they're spending a lot more time. So this is the MLS book from 1985, and it's just such a riot to think that this came out every Monday, and in this one market, and that means that if you put your property for sale on a Tuesday, no one would know until the following 6 days. No one would even know that property was for sale. But that's that world that we used to live in. And so just to conclude this idea here, again, our main agenda is that this is the new normal, and this shift has been happening for a long time. So you can see here that if I'm interested in looking for real estate, 9 out of 10 people are going to start their search online. I'm going to hit up Zillow, Realtor.com, Trulia, Yahoo Homes. There's local places just in my market here, Durham, like DurhamRealEstate.com, that kind of stuff. That's where people are. That's what they're doing. It used to be that 20 years ago they'd do something else before there was the internet. But if most people are starting their search online and look here in the middle, spending weeks and weeks and weeks looking at houses, in general, you're one of about 9 homes that I will have reached. These are from NAR, from the Home Buyers Report. So in general, people spend around 3 months looking at real estate. You're one of 9 homes. So you got to think. Imagine I'm looking at 9 landscaping companies, or 9 mechanics I want to work with, or 9 general contractors. It all starts to blur together. You need to have a strategy to set yourself apart from other people online, or you will not compete with the agents who are doing that. And then finally, look here on the right, we home buyers and sellers, you need to know this. We are not sophisticated creatures. We oftentimes work with the first agent we contact. According to NAR, close to 4/5 of people, nearly 8 out of 10 people. I'm looking online, I see an agent, I call you, you're the one I work with. So how do we ensure that that person is you? Especially if I'm spending so much time looking at real estate online, and just in general spending a lot of time in front of my screen. I think the average time people spend in front of their devices, laptops and TV and phones all together, 11.5 hours a day. You need to be in front of me. That's how we succeed. So now when we're talking about traditional outreach versus this digital shift, just to illustrate here some of the things that you have been doing traditionally, this shift has been going on for many decades, and our marketing has reflected that. So it used to be in the 70s and 80s and before that we relied on pre-internet kind of things, and now we're making the shift here. But even though we use internet to search for houses, we're not really taking full advantage of the advertising potential of the internet. This is something that you see all the time when you're browsing around, but most agents do not take advantage of internet advertising. Like maybe you'll do a boost on Facebook or something, or maybe you're even doing some Facebook advertising on your own. Facebook advertising is the most common way that agents get started with it, but it's not the whole picture, and that's what we're going to talk about. But some of you probably still send mailers and postcards. I know, like my mother-in-law, when I was visiting just last week, she received one from an agent that said, here's a home in your neighborhood that I just sold, here's the price I got. Maybe yours is worth something similar. Why don't you get in touch with me? And my mother-in-law, literally, and she's in her 70s, she saw this card and she's like, oh, I wonder if that's what my house is worth. I'll file this away for later. And so it's an extremely effective way to do it. You can do a digital equivalent of that as well. But these days I have gloves on when I check the mail because I don't know where that mail has been. Agents send me postcards, calendars. We have agent billboards here in the triangle. Of course, lots of different physical ways that you can get in front of people. Shopping carts I've seen, like when you're shopping and there's that little cage thing that folds forward in the shopping cart. You know what I'm talking about? You like drop the toddler in there. There's a little plastic flap there and you can advertise on that. And I actually was grocery shopping the other day and I saw an agent was like, oh, that's ads. Anywhere there's ad space, I want to put my face on it. That's my approach. I've seen agents advertise on park benches, and of course, you might be advertising in your local newspaper or Sunday Circular. But this is the equivalent of the MLS printed book. We live in a whole new world, and your digital marketing strategy needs to incorporate as many of these elements as possible. Now, as agents, you're not necessarily coming from a technology background or a marketing background. I know for a lot of agents, real estate is a second career, and you might have been very successful in something else that you did, but most agents we talk to, and my little team trains 1,000 agents a month. I talk to a lot of agents, the whole spectrum, beginning agents to like top producers with 10 people working for them, and they're all having to solve the same problems. How do you stay in front of people that know you and like you? How do you get in front of new people? How do you target the right people in the right places and don't waste your advertising impressions? It's the same problem that we're all trying to face. And digital makes it easier and cheaper and more effective to solve these same traditional problems that we've done historically. So that's where we come to item number 3 in our webinar here. So this is the new normal with COVID, this accelerated shift to digital. Digital shift has been happening for a long time, and the agents who have adopted this are the ones who are succeeding most because it just fit into their existing strategy. But you need to have yours. And so we're going to talk about how you can formulate yours today, get started today, and how most importantly, you can talk with one of my colleagues at Adwerx. We have digital marketing coaches who do nothing but spend all day long talking to agents just like you, who called in and said, I have thrown out my 2020 marketing plan, my business plan because of COVID. I need help redirecting my efforts and my energies and my dollars into more successful digital approaches here. So if your traditional marketing mix and spend is something like 70 analog, 30 digital, we have to switch that now. We are now getting to the point where our focus needs to be digital because that's where people are. And the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the data. We have in our network, in our database at Adwerx, hundreds of thousands of agents who are running ads, and we can see the ones who are getting the most engagement, the most clicks, growing their business the fastest. So let's talk about what this journey looks like for your customer. Let's look at these items here on the right, and this is sort of the funnel that as you get in front of people, your initial contact, your repeated contact, and as they go to referrals, they all go through the same journey. So the strategy that you're developing is, how do we move people down the funnel? You're all familiar with this model. I'm sure you've been doing this a long time. You have attended trainings and webinars and conferences and talked to sales coaches and things. It doesn't matter what your business is. All of us have the same funnel. It's true here at Adwerx. It's true for you. It's true for everybody who has some product or service for sale. We have to get people into the funnel, as many as we can, because the more we put into the top of the funnel, the more we get to the bottom of the funnel. So if you're an agent, I see we've got about 24 on the call here today. If you just got started, let's say you're a successful restaurateur and now you go into real estate. Well, you have to let people know that you're a realtor now. At some point, you had to tell people, I sell real estate, you should work with me. That first stage is awareness. It's the whole group of people in your life that know who you are, and know that you're a real estate agent. I can't work with you if I don't know that you do real estate. And then out of that group of people who know that you exist and know that you sell real estate, among those people, there have to be individuals who are interested in buying and selling real estate. So there's a smaller subgroup of all of the people that know you. And then of those people who are interested in buying and selling real estate, say, I might sell my house later this year, or, I really should upgrade to a 4-bedroom because I got one more kid on the way kind of thing. Then they make a decision. I'm ready to sell my house. I'm actively ready to list it. I have talked to my lender. I am pre-approved. I'm ready to go. Now I just need to find an agent, and I take an action. And this is, again, a winnowing of all the people in your life. And the action is, I call you, I see your phone number, I text you, I fill out a form on your email. Ultimately, the action, we hope, is I sign a contract and I give you dollars. That's ultimately where we need to go. But the thing is that agents often make the mistake of trying to buy their way into the bottom of the funnel. Leads are great, and there's a lot of services that will sell you leads. Adwerx is not one of those services. Adwerx focuses our efforts at the top of the funnel, brand awareness advertising, whereas other vendors and other companies you might work with focus on other places in the funnel. Now, the thing is that for every one person that you might get to the bottom of the funnel, you got to think there's probably 10 to 20 people at the top that other agents got to. So the idea is that we need to get more people into the top of the funnel so that more work their way down to the bottom. That's why Nike spends $250 million a year to get your attention. That's why Coca-Cola still runs advertising. You know what Coca-Cola is, you know what they sell. And so Nike is doing the same thing. You think there's all these people that know what Nike shoes are, but not everybody's in the market to buy shoes. And when you see a Nike ad, you don't drop what you're doing and go buy a pair of sneakers. Nike is just going to stay in front of you over and over and over and over again, so that when you're ready to buy shoes 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, you'll think of Nike. So this is why when you see top agents everywhere, you see them on billboards, you see them on TV commercials, you see them in postcards and on your screen, they know that the more times they can get in front of people, the more they will influence their buying decision when that person is ready, when they've worked their way down the funnel. Now, ultimately, it doesn't just end there, because we see some thought leaders now, and we've been talking about this at Adwerx, where your sales funnel is not even necessarily just funnel shaped. It becomes an hourglass once you start getting people to refer you. So once you've worked with one person, they tell 2 of their friends, and those 2 friends tell 4, and those 4 tell 8. And the idea is that with the right kind of digital strategy, we can make sure that every person that we've worked with refers us to other people. We do everything we can to make sure that happens. And it doesn't happen very often. In fact, according to NAR, only about 1 in 10 people that know you and like you in your network who say they'll work with you again only end up working with you again. So if you're only converting at about a 10% rate for your network, for your SOI, it means there's a lot of dollars there missing, and we need to have a strategy to make sure that we're not missing them. So eventually that loyalty is just like any brand. This is brand awareness journey here. So you're loyal to BMW over Audi, or Chevy versus Ford, or well, you have your favorite handbag, your favorite tennis shoe, your favorite laundry detergent. You'll keep buying it over and over again. And when I create the right kind of loyalty with my customers, they'll keep working with me and they'll tell their friends. And that's how you grow your business. So ultimately, it's the same process that every agent, it's the same problems that every agent has to solve. But if we're not using digital in our mix, A, we're going to struggle, and B, we will always be outcompeted by the agents who are doing effective digital advertising. So let's talk about, for this funnel here, what would that look like in practice? There's all these different elements here. And again, it's a lot to take in. I realize you didn't come to real estate because you're technology people necessarily, but here you're thinking like you've got all these different vendors, like who handles my email, and who handles my customer relations management, who handles my transaction management, who, you've got so many different vendors to keep up with. I sympathize, I really do. I do this full time for a living all day long. I can barely keep up with all these different vendors. And a lot of times these things don't even talk to each other. So we have to figure out ways to automate this and to make life easy. But ultimately, these are some of the 5 most important things that you'll be doing as far as assembling your sales, your digital strategy, and automating as much of it as you can. So I don't know what you're using for lead gen. It could be Zillow, could be Boomtown. There's lots of these. Ultimately, you want to make sure you've got your brand awareness advertising and your lead gen. Those are the 2 foundational pillars of your strategy. We don't do lead gen, we don't deliver leads. That's not what Adwerx is. When you do brand awareness advertising, you cannot expect the phone to ring in the same way that Nike does not expect you to drop what you're doing and buy a pair of shoes as soon as you see Serena Williams hit a tennis ball. But we do need to capture the interest when it comes through. There's lots of services that do this. How you're handling your social media, you might be manually publishing things. That's fine. Once you get to a certain scale as an agent, you can't keep up with doing this effectively. Like when you see some Instagram influencers that are traveling the world, they have a team of people doing this for them, and they're automating as much of it as they can. Well, you can afford a team of people, but software can often give you a much larger reach. And Hootsuite is a really good example for your for your content promotion. So that's where you're publishing to your blog, to your landing page. You're publishing email newsletters. There's lots of ways that you can automate this process and make this streamlined, because doing all of this manually is really challenging. And so the agents who are A, doing it, and B, automating it are the ones who are doing really well. And again, we can help you with your strategy. For email, you might be using MailChimp, you might be using ActivePipe. There's one called Pipeliner. There's dozens of these. HubSpot. There's what's the other really big one? Intercom. Lots of different ways that you can automate your email, and your office, your brokerage might already have like an officially approved vendor. And I do a lot of trainings with agents, and it's rare that agents really adopt the CRM that their company offers. And I get it. It's just one more system to learn, and you already have what works. And it's like, oh, I got to transition everything. I got 10 years worth of emails in my Outlook, and now I got to put them all into some other system that doesn't talk with anything. I get it. The thing is that once you have your database really well organized digitally, it opens up so many avenues for you to reach those people and schedule them. So between your email and your CRM, doing that well is going to be a big part of success for you. And then finally, your digital advertising. Like, the same way you can't do your business without email, in the same way you can't do your business without advertising. There's no business on the planet that does not benefit from advertising. We've been doing this for a long time. That's why billboards exist. That's why TV commercials run. That's why you put your face and name on a yard sign every time that you have a home for sale. You're advertising yourself. Now, again, advertising does not equal lead generation. That's a whole separate, we can have a whole different class on that if you want to. But when it comes to digital advertising, the point is that the more times we can get your face and name in front of people, the more successful you will be. So Adwerx makes it really, really easy to automatically take advantage of the entire advertising inventory of the internet. And all of you see ads every day, everywhere you go. You see ads on your phone, you see it on Facebook, you see it on Instagram, you see it on Realtor.com and Zillow.com, you see it on Amazon when you're shopping, you see it on Home Depot when you go to get a new lawnmower, you see it on Wayfair when you're trying to get a new table for outside, Expedia.com, WeatherChannel.com, FoodNetwork.com, every single place that you go every day, they run ads. Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be cool if with a click of one button, you could automatically have your name and face on every single website on the internet, targeted just to the areas that you farm? Just your local market will appear on those laptops and TVs. That's what Adwerx can do for you. It's a really important piece of your digital strategy. And I wanted to share with you a little bit about what the different elements are, so that later when you're talking with my colleague, when you schedule your one-on-one, because you, for attending this webinar training, get a free coaching session with one of my colleagues here, they can help you walk through this. You can say, okay, I'm using this technology and this technology. How does it feed into Adwerx? Is there a way that it can work together so that I can save myself some time? Now, many of you are familiar with Adwerx. We might have a relationship with your office, with your brokerage, and a lot of this will be a review for you. But in brief, I want to show you what the different DIY options are that we've traditionally offered agents, because getting started with digital advertising by yourself is really challenging. So having a partner like Adwerx makes the difference between being successful and being frustrated. So as many of you know, anytime that you have a listing for sale, we can generate a listing ad that automatically publishes to every website on the internet and focuses on a 15-mile radius around your property. And you can change that radius, of course, but we default to a 15-mile radius because NAR tells us that most people, when they buy a home, they move within 10 to 12 miles of where they live right now. It's like 80+%. So we have our listing ads standardized at 15 miles. so that we can just blanket everyone's phone and laptop and iPad within 15 miles of your home and make sure they see that you've got a property for sale. It works great, and your customers will love this. If you're looking for an edge the next time you're at a listing presentation and you're saying, your client is asking you, why should I work with you over someone else? You can say it's because I will create a custom digital ad for your property that's focused on our market, our local area, only targets buyers, and will be on mobile devices, laptops, Facebook, Instagram, the whole internet. Let's do this. I'm your best bet. Number two, we also offer personalized TV commercials. This is a new feature that we've had. Adwerx has taken its long expertise in internet advertising and plugged it into the streaming TV revolution. So most of you know that people cut their cable bundles. Like, I personally don't have cable. Anybody here have a streaming TV at home? Like, some show of hands. You guys have like Roku or Apple TV or Samsung TV, like a smart TV, or yeah, see, Tina raises her hand, Gary, a couple others, Brenda as well. I don't even think you can buy a dumb TV anymore, because this is the future of TV watching. I'm not going to wait until Thursday night at 7 p.m. to watch TV on your schedule. If I'm going to watch 6 episodes of Modern Family in a row on Hulu some Sunday afternoon, that is my right as an American, kind of thing. So streaming TV is where we are all moving. And so the opportunity for you to have a streaming TV commercial ready to go right now is something Adwerx can offer you. So this is something you absolutely want to talk to my colleague here after today's training. Look over here in the top right of my screen. One of the most important and effective things that agents can do is stay on top of their SOI, nurture their database. And so we have a tool that allows you to show ads just to specific people. So I want you guys to understand this. I have an ad running right now with Adwerx. I have a database targeting ad. And you might be thinking, Nathan, why do you have a database ad? You're not a realtor. Well, guess what? I have a product or service that I want you I want to stay top of mind with you for as well. So I have a database ad running right now that targets realtors who attend my webinars, the same way that you might have one running for people who come to your open houses. And what that means is that after today's training, I'm going to take every single email here, every person who signed up, I'm going to upload them to my Adwerx sphere targeting ad. And starting tomorrow, every single one of you on this call is going to be seeing my ad everywhere you go online, whether you like it or not. And Adwerx can do the same for you. You have folks in your network, you have friends and family, you have colleagues. Agents go crazy with this. It's one of our most popular technologies. Just give me a list of email addresses from your CRM, from your Outlook, from your Google Doc, whatever. And I can link that to a specific phone and a specific laptop, and those people will see your ad everywhere they go. It's awesome. When you guys all start with a sphere targeting ad, within a couple of days, you're likely to hear from people saying, I saw your ad on Facebook, I saw your ad on Food Network when I was looking up a chicken parm recipe. You're going to love this. It's great. Last two things here, bottom left, you can see hyperlocal branding. In addition to targeting your network, which is typically about half of your business, we also want to make sure the other part of your business, the other half of people that you work with, which is usually like 30 to 40% of most realtors, is new business, new people. And you want to make sure that they're constantly staying top of mind. They know that you exist. We need to get people in the top of a funnel like we saw earlier. And that's what these hyperlocal branding campaigns are about. So you can actually take specific areas, specific markets. You can give me a zip code, or we can look at specific areas, and we can make sure that your ad targets people who are likely to buy and sell real estate in the areas that you care most about. So please make sure you ask about that. And finally, the personalized retargeting campaigns is one of our agents' most favorite things. We call this the stalker ad. This is the one where you might be familiar with this. That's where if you go to Amazon, let's say, and you're looking at a pair of shoes to buy, and later that day you're on Facebook and you see that same pair of shoes, the same color, same size, and then it follows you around on Expedia, and then you're on USA Today, and you're just like, how do they know that I saw that shoe on Amazon? You guys all know what I'm talking about? Show of hands here. That's an extremely effective technology. Amazon uses it to great effect. So does Walmart, Home Depot, all the big brands, because they know that if you can keep keep a product in front of someone, they're much more likely to engage with it. And so we have this technology where when someone visits your website, and I'm looking at maybe 10 other agents, and all of them blur together, but one agent's ad starts following me around everywhere I go on different websites. That's the power of retargeting. It's an extremely effective technology, and it wasn't even available to agents maybe even like 5 years ago. So it's something that we're happy to offer to you. So this was just a high-level overview. I didn't want to spend too much time looking at any one of these individually, but there is a wealth of resources available to you when talking with an Adwerx, with one of our marketing specialists. So like I said, we do this all day long. You don't have to come from an advertising or marketing background to be successful doing this. Rely on our expertise instead. So please, after today's training, make sure to book your one-on-one and talk with one of my colleagues. It can be today, tomorrow, next week. It doesn't matter. As long as you get to talk with them and say, Nathan said, I need to be thinking about my digital strategy. What does that mean for me? And the nice thing is that it's something that every agent needs to do, and there's always a price point that works for you. If you have 50 bucks a month or 80 bucks a month, there's some solution we can have. There's some agents that call and say, I have 5,000 a month. How would you spend it? So there's always something that we can do to make sure that you're taking your business from wherever it is to that next level. So I want you to call in and make sure that you have a clear and dedicated plan. Now, as far as how all this goes, I don't want you guys to feel overwhelmed. I realize that I'm throwing lots of terms at you and technologies and stuff, and real estate used to be so much simpler, but these days I got to be like a tech wizard. Some of you might have marketing and technology experts in your office that you can rely on. Most of you don't. That's why we offer a couple different ways that you can get started with this digital strategy that you're putting together. Traditionally, historically, Adwerx has just offered these items a la carte, and you can just do them retail. You can say, oh, I'll just advertise in this zip code over here, or oh, I'll do some targeting to my network, or I'll run some listing ads, or I'll just do them one at a time, kind of piecemeal, and that's fine. That's really, really great for agents who are just getting started with digital advertising and they don't have a lot of resources and they don't need a lot of help. They can do DIY, and that's basically you getting a bucket of soap and just washing your car by yourself. But there's another level above that where agents are thinking, like, I understand how some of these elements start working together. Like when my CRM is well organized, I can start targeting with Adwerx, but then I also want to be running TV commercials. And so with Adwerx, if you're interested in multiple of those products that we saw on the previous page, so for example, if you bundle your TV campaign with geo-targeting, not only is it more effective together, but we'll offer you a discount, sort of like how Time Warner, you know, like you do bundle pricing, like, you know, you sign up for your internet, but hey, if you do your TV with us and your phone, we'll give you a deal. It's a similar kind of thing. So, and that's helpful when you know that you need to put together something more sophisticated. And then finally, there's this platform that we offer, and this is a relatively new thing, but it's the most successful and fastest growing part of our business, where agents say, I have a successful business, I just need someone to run it for me. It's the equivalent of you hiring someone to come to your house with white gloves and a Q-tip and cleaning out the vents of your car in a custom detail. All of these things will get your car clean. They're all different experiences, but there's something here that is good for you. And the platform, I'd be happy to set you up with a specialist here to talk about if you are one of our top producers and you need concierge help going through this. And I'll give you a great example. My colleague Joe was walking his dog a few days ago, and he's wearing an Adwerx t-shirt, and a woman recognized him, a realtor, saw his Adwerx shirt and said, oh, I know Adwerx. And they were chatting for a little bit. And I literally just heard the story this morning. I'm not making any of this up. And she was a pretty successful agent. She had 3 listings in that exact moment. She had run her own separate staging company. And so she was like, I'm making good money. I know I need to take it to the next level to be competitive. I don't have time for any of this. Can I just give you a budget and you just take care of it? That's what platform does for you. It's extremely effective when you've got experts running your strategy for you. So whether it's DIY, whether you want to do some bundle pricing, whether it's platform, there's always something at Adwerx that will work for you, and you need to have your digital advertising strategy put together. And the proof is in the pudding. We've been working with agents since 2013, and every week, every month, every year, we get lots of feedback from agents about how their business is growing. And in fact, we wanted to prove it. So we recently hired some external research companies to validate the fact that Adwerx as a system, as a program, works exceptionally well for agents. And so we hired Real Trends, which is a research company, and also T360, another real estate research company. And we gave them 2 years worth of data for, I believe it was 60,000 agents. And we said, okay, tell us, does this stuff work? What is it doing? And sure enough, they found independently verified that in general, for beginning agents, when they were using Adwerx, they found an increase in listings per year for rising agents, and for top producers even, 10 or more additional listings per year, all things being equal, of the agents who use Adwerx versus the agents who don't. We have a lot of information on this. If you're curious to learn more about the ROI of Adwerx, please let me know and I can forward you some information from our marketing team who's done some extraordinary work with this. We always knew Adwerx was tip top and that it really transformed agents' businesses, and now we have proof to show it. So in addition to these webinar trainings, in addition to really good software and technology, we also have a customer service team that is among the best in the nation. We have about 2 dozen people, real life human beings, manning and womanning the phones 24 hours. Well, at least email comes in and they're looking at it. So we actually are only open during business hours, but you get real life human beings to pick up the phone. It's not a machine. We don't outsource it. And we're really proud of how well we service our agents. And so if you ever have a problem with anything, you can always call customer support if you don't remember the name of your account manager, and we'll take care of you. So whatever it is that you're doing, you need to make sure that your digital strategy is well conceived. These times that we live in, if you were neglecting your digital approach until now, COVID disabused all of us against the idea that we can just keep coasting and doing what we were doing. The world has changed very rapidly underneath our feet, and we need to embrace this accelerated shift to digital if we're going to be successful in the 21st century. So I would love nothing more than all of you to make gobs of money this year. I would love for each of you to double your commissions this year. With the right strategy, it can happen. I want you to be like the agents who are saying, I understand that we live in a new world and I need to be on people's devices in front of them, because when I do that and my competitors don't, I will have a huge advantage. It's easy, it's affordable, it's extremely effective, and you get a bonus for being an NAR member. So if you are a member of NAR, you get a bunch of bonuses with Adwerx. You get these kinds of webinar trainings. And also when you create your account with Adwerx, when you put in your NAR credentials, your license number and last name, we will give you a boost on all of your advertising impressions across the board. So any kind of advertising you do, you pay by the number of views. Like with television commercials, for example, you say, okay, I want X number of commercials a month. Well, just for being an NAR member, you get an automatic lift for free of extra impressions, extra views for all of your advertising. It's an extremely effective program, and we're really proud to be partnering with NAR. We've done this for some time. So that's it. That's all we really have for today. It's a relatively short training, just about 40 minutes. I do want to stick around and answer whatever questions you have, but I want to just recap what we talked about. Is that we are all in the same boat here, where for March, April, May, we were doing trainings all through that and talking with agents who are freaking out and saying, Nathan, I don't know what to do. I am not good with technology. Our business has really grown by leaps and bounds because it's finally agents now turning to Adwerx saying, I need help navigating this new world. There's a lot of technology out there and it doesn't all play nice together, but here at Adwerx, we will make sure that you have a really nice digital strategy to make sure that you're staying on top of all these changes that are going on. So you'll all receive an email from Adwerx very shortly with a recap of what we talked about. They'll include a survey, but I encourage all of you, please sign up for a one-on-one with one of my colleagues in the office here. As I said, it's a free coaching session. I don't know if you wanted to find some digital marketing coach in your area and say, hey, can you walk me through some of this stuff? I'm telling you, they wouldn't do it for free. But at Adwerx, you can get a free one-on-one coaching session with a digital marketing expert and just talk about whatever you want to talk about. See where this can fit into your business and what kind of price points works for you. So any thoughts, final thoughts or questions, please let me know. You can ask them in the little question box here and I'd be happy to go over anything you'd like. But if not, then I just really encourage you guys to reach out to Adwerx for anything you need and to have a great weekend and stay safe, stay home, wear a mask, stay the course, and we'll get back to more semblance of normal as soon as we can. So any final thoughts or questions on this before we wrap? Okay, very good. So I appreciate all of your time and attention. And like I said, you'll see an email from me really shortly. This has been an Adwerx presentation. My name is Nathan. You guys have been terrific. I really appreciate your time. Take care.